The Super Media Bros podcast is a founding member of the OddPods Media Network.
Super Media Bros.
It turns out there's a lot more music than I initially wanted to talk about. 4 artists that I wanted to talk about had releases on the same day, and that was last Friday.
Oh, Jesus. And the thing is like, there have been so much good music that has come out this year that I'm having a difficult time whittling it down. So I'm just really doing what I've been listening to this week.
Welcome to episode 277 of the Super Media Bros podcast. I'm Richie.
No, I'm Devin.
It's a music-heavy episode this week, goddammit. I went to a show last night, going to plenty of concerts throughout the end of the year coming up, and then there's just been a fuckload of new music to talk about. So obviously, if you are listening to this episode and you are seeing the artwork, there's a little bit more than what's listed on the artwork to talk about because, you know, music is just vast. Right now, I know there's an artist in particular on here that the both of us have always loved and always listened to together. Kicking this off with Blink-182, honestly, because, okay, right now they're on a tour together and, you know, they're newly reunited with Tom DeLonge after almost 10 years. And the shows have been kicking ass, and they really kicked this all off with a very instantly classic fucking performance at Coachella, which was almost completely unexpected too. As far as them performing, it's like, because a lot of rock bands do Coachella.
No, and I don't think a lot of the people that go to Coachella even realizes the big deal, because initially, I know that they went and they were already at Coachella, but for a second night, it was supposed to be Frank Ocean, and Blink-182 actually covered for him. And I saw some people on Instagram saying, oh, that's a much lesser known thing. I don't see that as a substitute. And I was like, oh, you're showing your age. Okay.
Right. What's your age again?
Yeah, for
real.
real.
Because, like, shit, dude, Blink-182 stole the show.
Well, not only just that, but, I mean, look, Frank Ocean is a mastermind at his craft. He's a supremely talented individual. But if we're talking star power, if we're talking just, like, name recognition and legacy, come on. More people know Blink-182 than Frank Ocean. Let's be real.
Yeah. And it's wild. Like, they put a single out back in October, and we still haven't really sat and talked about Edging.
Which is weird. We haven't?
No, I don't.
Not on the air. But.
Yeah, I don't believe we have on the air, but and I feel like that's mostly because we've been waiting on the new album to come out, because when they announced this tour, they announced this single, and then they announced that an album was coming out, and they finished it before the tour started, which they're on tour with Turnstile right now, which Turnstile fucking kicks ass too. There's been no announcement for any kind of release date or any second single or really anything.
Nah, there's a big rumor that June 2nd is what I keep hearing about, a second single.
It'd be nice if it was just a surprise album drop, to be honest with you. Because you know how, like, certain artists are just like, oh, surprise, here's a fucking whole album.
Yeah, I would love that. I'll be honest with you. Ville Valo did it. Blink-182 is doing it. If I were to guess, Stained is going to end up doing it. I'm not a fan of, here's one single, 8 months later, you get the album. I'm not a fan of that.
I'm not either. Because by the time this tour is finished up, which it rolls into next year, going down into fucking like New Zealand and Australia and stuff like that, I feel like most of the people that are going to be in the back half of the tour after they finish the United States run of this tour, they're going to get all the new shit performed live.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see the new shit performed live. I have seen the classics. Like, I'm not, complaining. Hey, the classics are getting performed because they're obviously all, getting done. But fuck, dude, like, they didn't even tour the 9 album whenever like Matt was in the band. They just did the 20th anniversary of Enema.
Yeah, and that bummed me out because I'm like, dude, people are sleeping on this album because you're not fucking touring it.
Yeah.
Y'all are acting like you didn't even like it. So how do you expect the fans to get behind it?
Right. And one thing I will give them credit for is that they're doing Cynical and Bored to Death live with Tom on vocals, which it sounds great with him singing too, which I think is amazing. It's kind of that, I know it's a completely different fucking band, but I kind of related that to how when Sammy Hagar was first starting to do some of David Lee Roth shit from Van Halen, you know? It's like, okay, let's see how this sounds with Tom on vocals. And it's really neat because there's no bad blood between them and Matt Skiba, which he did such a phenomenal job with those guys for the 7 years he was in the band. And it was from like 2015 until last year.
That's right, yeah.
So,
Damn.
Yeah. Time flies, dude. Yeah. Yeah, time fucking flies.
Holy shit.
But Edging is really good. It's kind of a throwback to their classic sound or whatever. And then, you know, it's current. I know there's people that are shitting on it, but I think it's fun. It's catchy and it's them. You know, how do you go wrong with that sound, especially with these 3 guys?
Is it because it has that electronic kind of?
I don't think it's that at all. I think it's because they're just like people that are hardcore fans of this band are both they love them, but they're insufferable. And I am so fortunate to not be an insufferable bastard when it comes to this band. Yeah, I don't want this band to write the same shit over and over again. And you know, there are people who are like, it doesn't sound like them, and I'm like, yeah, actually it does. But you're clamoring for Dude Ranch again, and that's if you want Dude Ranch, go find Scott Rayner and whatever fucking cover band he's playing drums for to do that shit.
Yeah, because like legit, I don't understand. I mean, you've got the jokiness to it. You've kind of got like the more darker undertones within one song. So it's like, what part of this is not Blink-182 to you? Yeah, and they're judging the entire reunion and album based on the one song. You can't fucking do that. I'm a prime example of that. Yeah. I judge an entire album based on Blame It On My Youth. And I was like, okay, well, the rest of the album fits with context. And like, you got to fucking do this. Dude, well, the thing is let's think of it like this. If you only heard for months, let's say Feeling This from their self-titled album, which myself and you included is our favorite Blink-182 album. Yep. After hearing like their first few albums and be like, oh, this is a different sound. I don't know about this one. It was cool when Feeling This had come out though, because you could hear the progression happening. And then at the same time, I feel like people were ready for that change during that time because it's like, okay, where does the band go from Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, which was in a lot of ways a big step up from Enema of the State. That's a lot of words. Yeah, it is. And then when the Untitled album came out, it to me, it's their masterpiece. It really is. It really is Blink's masterpiece. And Tom, but Tom has always said, big grandiose things when it comes to album releases. He's sitting there saying that this is probably the best album that they've ever done, like together. They all have something to say now. This kind of goes back to the whole, like, when an artist has something to say, they got something to say now. I mean, fuck. Tom doesn't want it. Like, they don't really make a big deal about Tom as they do, like, with Mark and Travis. But I mean, like, fuck, Tom survived, addiction and, a few other things. And he went through a divorce. He's remarried. Mark fucking beat stage 4 lymphoma. Travis obviously survived his fucking plane crash, and he's still, he's still going. He's sober. They're all, much older. And I feel like Tom's not phoning it in this time, because I noticed that on the last reunion tour they did, he kind of just felt like he was there. This time he looks like he's having a blast this time. You could also hear it in the Neighborhoods album. Yeah, they recorded that one almost completely separately in different studios, and this one feels more like a team effort. Now, whenever Tom says that this is their best album, do you believe him, or do you think that's marketing? The fan in me says to believe him. The skeptic, as you would be like, oh, he's just saying this to get people on the hype train. But here's my retort to that. This motherfucker had been trying to tell us about aliens for so fucking long. Nobody believed him.
And then he basically forced the government to be like, yeah, they fucking exist. They leaked fucking To the Stars and leaked the goddamn UFO sighting. Yes, this is probably going to be their best album. I'll go ahead and believe him and say that.
My man's knows shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, after this, you want to watch documentaries on Roswell?
Fuck yeah, I do. Roswell style. Fuck yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to their new album, and I'm actually seeing them in July in Houston. So I will report back on that show because Kenny Hoopla is opening also.
That's fucking sick.
Yes, sir.
Now, for me, I mean, look, Blink-182, him, and what else is my favorite?
Fucking Stained.
Dude, Stained, bruh. Okay, now we've had our disagreements on certain albums, you know, like where I would say you're a pretty big fan of theirs. It's just you've got a couple of things that you consider a stinker.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not necessarily that. How do I put this? Their first 3 releases, and I'm including like Tormented, obviously, like their first 3 releases for me, front to back, are perfect.
Yes.
It's where I start kind of getting into the territory when 13 Shades of Grey came out.
14.
It's 13. You can keep Ralph, okay? I'm keeping 13.
Oh, fuck you. All right.
Yeah. So 13 Shades of Grey. I'm fucking with it. So when 14 Shades of Grey came out, I think Price to Play was the first single that came out off of that one. And I remember that. And I was like, okay, right on. Then So Far Away came out. And I was like, okay, there's the ballad.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, all right, what else is there?
Lane? Zoe Jane?
I know. What else is there?
I mean, okay, I get it because it's like, I feel like 14 Shades of Grey was their scattered album, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And this is coming from a diehard fan where there's no skips to me. Like, me personally, there's not a single track that they have ever released that I'm like, this was not good. Nothing. I can't think of a single one. But as somebody who has to put their biases aside, I feel like maybe 14 Shades of Grey being scattered is the point, because maybe that's them saying, yeah, but this is all of the shades of life. That's possible. What were they going through? Where were their heads at? You know, things like that. Maybe.
Yeah, and I mean, it was lighter in tone, obviously. Like, they were getting older, they were getting married, they had fucking kids and all this other shit like that. And I feel like maybe that's where I was like, oh, you guys went soft. You know, me being as young as I was when this came out, dude, because this album came out and I was a junior in high school. There
it is, kind of cynical, kind of. Whereas with me, like, I'm listening to all of it, and by the time I was able to appreciate Stained, like, as a band, I was in college. You know, like, I had already liked their other shit, but I'm saying, like, in terms of, like, really diving into their discography as opposed to just the singles that everybody has heard. And after that, you know, my life had already taken a number of shifts. And so by then, I think every single song that they've released, even Zoe Jane, which is about his daughter, and I don't have any kids that I know of. I
love that it took a sec.
That I know of. I mean, hey, bro, I'm leaving room for being proven wrong here.
Watch the one voicemail we're gonna get this year on supermediabrospodcast.com is somebody be like, I think I have that there Devin kid.
Dude,
what the fuck?
Okay, so here's my question: Who do you think?
No,
you think it's who do you got?
These are real people, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Or do you think it's Joe? Because I ain't heard from her, and it's been about a year. What you think?
I'm gonna go with Ghosty Girl.
Well, 2 of them have ghosted.
That's what I'm saying. So you flip a coin. We'll go from there. I'll send you the registry listing whenever I figure out who it is, and then...
But no, like, even though, like, I don't have any kids, like, Zoe Jane I understood because a bunch of my friends are starting to have kids. And so not only do I live vicariously and I see, like, how that has changed them, and how they view the world now, but also like, you know, you as a close friend slash like non-blood related uncle, you know, you kind of get that weird sense of like parental understanding in a weird way of like, but only whenever the kid is around, because then whenever they go away, you forget all about it. But like, I fucking get it. It's this weird like surrogate fatherhood in my mind. I don't know. But either way, like every song I understand, you know, so
It's relatable for you.
Yeah, like I love their music.
Yeah, like I know I give you shit for it, but that's all it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Shit. Like what you like. You know?
Yeah. But for years now, I've been telling you, hey, they're gonna drop a new album soon. And you've been like, okay. And at first you were like, oh, they'll probably do a few festivals, but they're not actually gonna tour. They're not gonna drop anything. It's just a reunion. Don't get your hopes up. And it's been far removed now, so statute of limitations, I'm sure. I think we could say it on air. I kind of hacked their website back in like 2018, 2019, something like that. And I sent it to you. And within their source code was putting in like new album and tour dates.
Oh, fuck, I remember
soon.
that shit. And I was like, where did you find this? And you wouldn't tell me how.
And then I eventually told my boy Charlie, and he was like, Devin, that's illegal. And I was like, nah, yeah, it's fine. Devin, that's illegal. You hacked their website. And I was like, and? Dude, I don't think you understand.
How did you do that?
I just decoded it entirely
Oh
from
my
the
God. I keep forgetting this motherfucker went to college for this shit.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I built a fucking battle bot.
You guys are not safe. And by you guys, I mean Stained. You are not safe.
And it's funny because
You think you're smart, don't you, Aaron?
I fucking
Actually, or whoever their fucking designer is.
It was something McDonald, I believe.
Ronald?
No, it was something. It was some. Look, I remember because he was a Marine, because he even put his name and then put Semper Fi at the very end, like as a signature. And so I was like, okay, so let me look up this guy's name on Facebook and filter through his military background as an occupation, and I found him. And I knew it was him because it also said that he was doing graphic designing and all this other website development and all that shit. So I DM'd the guy and I was like, hey man, I know you coded the Stained website. Here's a screenshot. I just want to know, have you heard the album? What should I as a fan expect? Do you at least have the album cover? Like, can you tell me what it looks like? Like, I asked this dude a million questions and he didn't respond to me. He just blocked me. And so,
Oh, fuck.
And so I was like, fuck. And again, I told Charlie this and he was like, Devin, that's illegal. And I was like, I have to know. And then about a year passed and the pandemic hits. So we didn't get anything. And then another year passed. And then another year. And so by this point, I'm sure like you and everybody else was like, Devin's just fucking crazy. Like, he read this one time and it's probably in development hell. They're not going to release it. There is no album, but he's stuck on it. And then they dropped a snippet of the single. And dude, I kept listening to it on loop. And I was like, shit's fucking fire. I waited for the midnight drop of this thing. And oh my fucking God, Stained is back, baby!
It sounds better than some of the shit that they put out on their self-titled one from 2011, honestly.
I love that album so much.
Well, but here's the thing, like the song's called Lowest in Me, and it sounds a lot like Break the Cycle for me. Like this is where like that era was coming to mind in this song. And I know they have like another song that they're teasing that's coming up soon. There's no release date for the album in question. Supposedly it's titled Confessions of the Fallen.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope they have something to say, goddammit.
I think so, because this one was based on trauma. And for the record, like, the song itself sounds like everything that you do love from Stained. It starts off pretty heavy. The only thing that they don't have is the slower come down like you would get from Epiphany,
Oh, fuck
Excess
all that.
Baggage.
Oh, fuck all that. I was excited as hell whenever that
That's what I'm saying.
motherfucker started getting like really like dirty vocals towards the end of the track. I was like,
the
okay.
distorted roar.
I was like, okay, good.
Yeah. Now, they do say with every album that they drop, this one is going to be our heaviest and most brutal, blah, blah, blah. And then you get stuff like Illusions of Progress. But at the same point, I feel like they mean it this time because it's a reunion, and I think they all know what people are wanting and looking for. I listen to it on loop all the time. It's so fucking good. The riff is fucking crazy. Mike did such a good job on it.
Yeah, I like Mike Mushak's playing a lot, and the work that he was doing with Saint Asonia was really good too, because I like that band a lot, actually. But I'm ready to hear what the rest of it sounds like, because I definitely want to reserve judgment until I hear the entirety of it, because they've been so hit or miss for me over the last 20 years. I'm just like, okay, it's weird to say over the last 20 years, but it's true. They've literally been hit or miss for me since 14 Shades of Grey, so I need to fucking hear this front to back. So on the other end of the spectrum, a band that I'll honestly, admit that I didn't get into from the jump. I didn't get the hype behind it, and I sure the hell, didn't really sit and listen until this year. Ghost. Because I know a lot of people that are really, really big into Ghost, and they are they have like a lot of depth to the lore of Tobias.
Yes.
And the group of nameless ghouls, basically, which is the rest of the fucking band. But I'll admit, like, after like sitting and like hearing Rats and a few other songs, that's a great one.
Square Hammer.
Yeah, dude. And then just listening to the album Prequel and Impera, like those are fucking great. They just released an EP called Phantomime, and the album is comprised of cover songs. And it's like, okay, so you have a Tina Turner cover, which is like the We Don't Need Another Hero, which is fucking cool.
Rest in peace, by the way. She
right,
died
dude.
this week.
That's why I made sure to fucking mention that one from the jump. There's a Genesis cover with Jesus He Knows Me, which was the first single off of this one. It's fucking awesome. However, the cover that drew me in was Phantom of the Opera from Iron Maiden.
That was fucking sick.
Well, here's the fucking great part about it. It's not Bruce Dickinson Maiden. It's Paul Di'Anno. And Paul Di'Anno came out and was just like, oh, this cover sucked. Like, he was just such a dick about it. And then here's my retort. There's a reason Paul is not in Iron Maiden anymore, and it's because he fucking sucks. So chew on that, you fucking old bitch. This was a good cover.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it, and I thought it did fucking well, and it fit them. That considering like Ghost has just this entire like theatrical kind of thing going for them. And what sold me on being like, okay, I'll give Ghost a shot is like, I can't sit here and say that I'm not going to listen to Ghost, but I'll listen to Gwar or I'll listen to Lordy, bands that are like costumed and have theatrics and have really good music behind it. Mm-hmm. This is really good.
I think what gets a lot of people to shit on Ghost is, number one, a lot of them say that it's not metal, but I'm like, it's like...
It is metal.
It's like glam metal, but yeah, like it's definitely metal. I mean, I think a lot of people would just think if it's not screaming fucking heavy black metal, death metal or something, then it doesn't count. And it's like, no, dude, they have different subgenres. One other thing about Ghost is I think their vocalist, a lot of people don't realize it's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek Satanism.
Yes, absolutely.
They're not taking themselves serious. And because I've heard one guy be like, I just can't get behind their vocalist because he just, it doesn't sound metal. And I'm like, no. You're missing the point. He's not serious.
That's like people with baby metal. They can't take it seriously because they're like, this is metal. And I'm like, yeah, kawaii metal is absolutely a fucking genre.
Yeah.
To piggyback off of Ghost being that way, another band that gets that kind of same rap as Sleep Token, honestly, dude, because
I'm surprised they get shit on, because
no, they don't. It's like they don't get shit on like unanimously. Sleep Token is insanely popular. There are people that think that it's overhyped. I don't see that though, dude. There is so much shit that just goes into it. The clean vocals are great. The metal portions of it are even more amazing. They just dropped a whole ass album, and they had like a progression of singles that have been coming out since the day after my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So they released Chokehold, and then The Summoning, and then Granite, and Aqua Regia, and then like they just kept going on, and then they finally just dropped the whole thing because I kept sitting there like, come on, put the whole fucking album out, god damn it, because it's like prog metal and gent all together. Fuck, it's so good, dude. I implore anybody that has never heard of Sleep Token to check this album out, because they've got other releases or whatever. I feel like this is their third album, by the way, and I feel like this is probably their best shit.
It is. Are You Really Okay had me crying in the club. Their final track was just like so moving to me. Dude, the thing is like, I Disagree by Poppy is one of my favorite albums ever, but for some people it might be a little too sporadic as a jumping point into experimental music. I feel like this is a good way. Sleep Token's latest album is a good, like, okay, so I want to get into something a little bit more unique and different, something that isn't this big commercial machine that sounds so radio friendly, but I don't want to be thrown to the wolves. Like, for somebody like that, you can't give them Mr. Bungle.
No, and this has something for everybody.
It does.
There's like funk, black metal, electronic music, there's pop, there's prog, there's gent, there's fucking groove, there's clean vocals. God, there's hints of reggae in this motherfucker.
Dude,
here and there.
So fucking good. Oh my God. I was cleaning my house and I had it in my headphones and I was like, oh my God. Like, before I knew it, the album was done and I was almost done cleaning.
And you're sitting here like, how the fuck did an hour and 3 minutes pass by?
It was wonderful. I loved it.
But yeah, fucking Take Me Back to Eden. Check out that shit. Matter of fact, check everything out that we're going to be talking about here. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to round it out with some other releases and so on and so forth. You're listening to the Super Media Bros on the OddPods Media Network. Don't go anywhere. If you haven't heard already, it's Smooth Sack Summer. When you're playing in the summer sun, make sure that you're scaped from pubes to bum. That's right. This is the summer to keep your balls cool while still looking hot with Manscaped. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming are making sure that we all have a ball this summer by giving our pants partners everything they need to stay fresh. Dive headfirst into Smooth Sack Summer by going to manscaped.com and getting 20% off plus free shipping with our code SUPER. The Performance Package 4.0 has everything that you need to prepare your summer bod, including their Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer. It features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Did I mention the trimmer's waterproof too? Beach, lake, or shower, the razor's going to devour even the strongest of pubes. And now that you have the perfect haircut, use Manscaped's liquid formulations to keep that freshness even at the hottest summer barbecues. Most importantly, use the Crop Preserver ball deodorant to stay cool in the heat. It's got a soothing aloe vera formula, and it's the best in the business for below-the-waist freshness. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to this Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. And look, if you're wearing sandals with some nasty toenails during the summer months, you need to take a look at the Shears 2.0. It's a luxury nail grooming kit. This kit includes stainless steel nail cutters, tweezers, and grooming scissors. With the Performance Package, your balls will be ready to impress, but make sure that you cover the rest with the Shears 2.0. Get 20% off plus free shipping with our code SUPER at manscaped.com. That's right, 20% off plus free shipping site-wide with the code SUPER at manscaped.com. It's Smooth Sack Summer, boys. Get on board or get left behind.
This is Beer in Front. Every week I'll talk about a beer that maybe we've forgotten along the way while we get those check-ins and badges. Being the Chicago beer guy, I'll also talk about great craft beer in the city of Chicago. And remember, sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet. That's Beer in Front, part of the OddPods Media Network.
And we are back. Devin, what else is on the fucking platter of music?
So, bit of a kind of a hot take here. Fall Out Boy. And I say hot take because if it's not my generation, I feel like they're kind of somebody that a lot of people, any older than you, is going to be like, oh yeah, that boy band.
I don't know about that, dude. That's not how a lot of people see them.
Really? Because I never hear, like, let's say my parents or somebody like that, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's that new shit. You know, they don't really like.
It's only because whenever Save Rock and Roll came out, I mean, let's be honest, Fall Out Boy decided to start writing differently.
That's true.
Everybody's like, it's not Take This to Your Grave. Then go fucking listen to Take This to Your Grave, god
Yeah.
damn it. Go listen to that. Go listen to From Under the Fucking Cork Tree. Go listen to Infinity on High. I love every goddamn thing that they've put out. Folie à Deux was even like, it was hated on when it first came out.
I don't understand.
Because it was like oversaturated shit. Like everybody was honestly, everybody was getting tired of them at the time. That's why they fucking went on hiatus. But looking back as like reappraising the album, it's a good album.
It's very good. It's one of my favorites. I wouldn't say it is, but it's up there, dude.
Yeah. Point being is that I don't expect this band to write the same fucking album over and over. However, So Much for Stardust is it feels like it's a mixture of everything that kind of like makes them who they are, and I dig that. I like that it is a little bit of a tribute to themselves, and it is a little bit of a progression, and it's, you know, it's where they are now.
Yeah.
Because even like they've all said like we didn't want to come back and do another one unless it was worth coming out and doing another one. So here we are.
And it's funny that you brought up Folie à Deux, because they've even said in an alternate timeline after that album, this was the next one. There was no Mania, which I thought Mania was fucking great.
Mania was different. Like obviously speaking, I'm not gonna lie, that first single off of it was kind of like I didn't like because it felt purposely off. Like the vocals in some of the spots felt way off from like, you know what I mean? Like it didn't match quite up with the beat. And I was like, what are they doing? I don't know if they did it on purpose or what, but for the most part, yes, Mania was pretty good. American Beauty, American Psycho was phenomenal too.
Yes.
But like So Much for Stardust is just, that's a kick-ass album.
Yeah, dude. The Pink Seashell segment, that had me going, oh, God damn.
Oh, with Ethan Hawke, yeah.
I was like, God damn. Whew. Who cutting onions, man?
I know, right?
But that was really fucking good. And it's kind of nice because in a world where, you know, we are getting a new and the final, as of now, Panic at the Disco album that most of the fans actually did not like.
I fucking hated that album.
I didn't. I really didn't. Especially with Don't Let the Lights Go Out. I can't hate. I can't. I think he needs help with writing. Musically, the dude is extremely talented. For you to do all of that on your own, you've got some talent, but lyrically, their best days are behind them.
That's because he didn't write the fucking lyrics on their first few albums.
And it kind of shows.
It does show. Ryan Ross was the guy.
I still stand by Death of a Bachelor is my favorite.
Death of a Bachelor was the best that he did on his on his solo when he was being Panic at the Disco as himself. Sure. Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die. That's my shit.
But that was only half of Brennan, correct?
It was him and Dallin Weeks and Spencer.
That's what I'm saying, though, is like only half of that album was just him, correct?
It was all three of them.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, that was like the last concerted effort by a full band.
Okay. Because I thought that it was that way for like half of it, and then halfway through it was just Brennan. That's what I heard.
Death of a Bachelor, Pray for the Wicked,
Okay.
and
Viva Las Vengeance.
Yeah. See that I couldn't even tell you the name of the album because I was just like, oh, fuck, why? The fact that album got hated on so hard and nobody was listening to it that he forced every goddamn person at all the shows on this final tour to listen to that whole fucking thing because he performed the entire album live. He did the whole fucking thing front to back live in the middle of his set. And I'm like, you really did this, didn't you? God damn it.
In a world where, you know, all these bands are coming back and a lot of people are like, it's not your old stuff. It's nice to hear that Fall Out Boy did a good one.
Right.
And that's the main point that I wanted to make is, you know, we've had all these comebacks and it's just kind of like, and it's all from that pop punk, emo, whatever you want to call it, time period.
Yeah, and that's all getting big because, like, you know, when the We Were Young festival got announced, it was like a goddamn Hot Topic resurgence from 2003, and that's not necessarily a good or bad thing because you got to understand along with all the cool fucking nostalgia comes the really corny, shitty nostalgia. And I'm just really glad that the majority of it has been fun. And the majority of it has been like, oh, these bands are still good. Or these bands never really left. We just kind of had them dormant for a while. And The Used isn't one of those bands.
No, I'm glad you brought them up. But before we go off of this topic, did you see the footage to the Sick New World? Yeah,
I was looking at that. That was basically like the new metal version of when we were young.
I fucking loved it.
You know what? I'll go on a short tangent real quick about that one. You know what pissed me off? All these, and granted, I have to like sit back and be like, okay, I've been with these bands since the beginning.
Yeah.
All these fucking young little bastards being like, hey, so System of a Down's actually really good live. And I'm like, they've never sucked live. Incubus is actually really good live. They were never shitty live. Oh, well.
What did they expect?
I know. That's what I'm getting at, dude. And they're like, oh, man, Korn was really good live. And I'm like, Korn's always been Korn. Like, what the fuck do you want?
Yeah.
Like, Deftones rule. And I'm like, Deftones are iffy live, but they're mostly good.
Well, that's only because
Chino.
Yeah, like when you scream the way that Chino does, like
my man's is unhinged, okay?
Yes.
And I love that. That's what makes the Deftones such a great live act.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm really glad that like we're getting all this shit or whatever. I do have something to say about the Used new album though. Like Toxic. Okay, so like Toxic Positivity, it's great. It's a great.
I was about to say you better not shit on it. But
I'm not shitting on it. What I'm saying is it's great, but I miss Quinn Allman so much. He was really the creative driving force behind the textured sounds that they had on their first few albums and shit.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Because really only half the original band is intact.
I know. For what it is. Because whenever you do have new bandmates coming in and out and all that stuff.
It changes your sound, dude.
It changes your sound, and also you have to take it for what it is. You almost have to look at it as a different band entirely, because it is. Yeah. But also, it's like, you're not changing just one person. This is a completely new dynamic. So it's like, yes, it's the Used, but it's not the Used. It's like... You know what it's like? It's like watching like your favorite series that's all ongoing. Like let's say Power Rangers, which is what I was watching last night. I was watching some Time Force with the boys. Shit's fire. Go check it out if you are hankering for some nostalgia. But anyway, it's like that. Yeah, it's still Power Rangers, but it's a different version of it. And it's just got the same name and it's the same kind of beat by beat sort of deal. But with the Used, I kind of look at each one with a different pair of goggles, because you almost have to. And that's why whenever I listen to it, I was like, this shit's fucking fire.
It's really good. Because I'll tell you right now, this is their 9th album.
God damn.
This is the first album that I have listened to from front to back and was like, all right, I fucks with it since Artwork. And Artwork came out in 2009, my dude.
I was about to say, like...
Artwork...
Over a dick!
Artwork is... Of their 4 originals, and this is the hottest of hot takes. Everybody loves In Love and Death. Everybody loves their self-titled album. That is their best work from the first 4. Artwork is their best fucking album from the first 4 releases initially. And I fucking will die on that hill.
I will... God...
That is some of Quinn Allman's best guitar work, writing-wise. That is some of Bert's best lyrics.
Dude, I
can't fuck with the first 2. Like, those 2, it's like Autopilot. It's just like, those are great fucking things. But, like, Artwork was just, like, sonically good, too.
I can't pick. We're not doing this.
What? You're just like, I
can't pick between the OGs, man. Like, I don't have a favorite.
I had to die on the hill somewhere, dude. But, like, Toxic Positivity is really good.
It really is. And also the album cover art.
That's their best album cover. I'm not going to lie. That's the best cover
I was going to say, dude, like, we haven't discussed cover art on this episode yet because, the Stained one was just a single, and Stained singles usually have that look to it. It actually does have that break the cycle aesthetic to it right there. So I really enjoy that. But, so much for Stardust. It's
It's a dog.
Yeah, like it's a really angry dog.
It looks like a 90s like movie cover or
It
something.
really does. Like there's not a lot to really dive into artistically with these covers, and that's no disrespect to whoever designed them. It's just like, oh yeah, this exists. Whereas this one actually looks like a piece of artwork. It looks like somebody's tattoo sleeve.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Next up is one that is very underground, making some traction. For me, particularly after Astroworld, whenever that was going down.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that a year ago or was it 2?
That the sad thing is I can't really recall. I feel like it was last year.
I hope it's last year because then it would indicate that they didn't skip a year, which gives me hopes to go to an Astroworld one day. But I digress. The last Astroworld that they had, I believe on night 1, Eve Tumor. Now, I don't know if you've heard of them, but
2021 is when it happened.
2021, goddammit, they did skip a year. Fuck. But Eve Tumor, which I don't know if you've heard of them, but they are this like crazy fucking Prince, Marilyn Manson fucking like enigma. I don't know how to describe them, but fucking amazing. Like have you gone down any discography from Eve Tumor?
Heaven to a Tortured Mind was the one that I listened to.
Dude, that's a good one. Oh my God. This one, I feel like, it's weird to say. It's almost like this latest album, it's a long fucking title. I'm not doing it. But
Praise the Lord who chews, but which does not consume. And then in parentheses, it says, or simply hot between worlds.
I'm not.
Reminds me of fucking Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Wheelie, wheelie, one, wheelie, wheelie. Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses, it says until the brink of dawn.
Bruh, it's a long title. I'm sure Eve did this on purpose, but it's really fucking good. I feel like this is going to sound super fucking goofy, but just hear me out. This is Eve Tumor's most albumy album.
Like, this is absolutely a start to finish. Like, you got to listen to all 37 minutes of this bitch front to back.
Yeah, like, whereas before I felt like...
You feel like you could, like, cherry pick off of it?
Not even that. It was more along the lines of, like, I felt like the albums were glorified EPs in runtime.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Like, and I'm only talking about runtime, where I'm like, yes, we got an album. It's over? Well, okay. Everything, I didn't skip anything, so everything's great, but okay.
It's like song length was just, like, not there.
Yeah, and that's a personal thing. You've heard me say this. If an album is any less than, like, 43 minutes, 45, then I'm like, God damn it. Like, if I'm looking at the runtime and I see a 3, like, even if it's 39 minutes, I'm like, where's the deluxe at? God damn it.
Right.
I don't know why I'm like that. It's weird because, we live in an age where I know you're going to cringe, but let's be honest, guys like Morgan Wallen are fucking eating up the charts, because of these double albums. And I'm not going to talk about the quality of music. No, you know what? I am. His last album was 36 songs.
Jesus fucking Christ.
There is no reason why he could not have whittled it down to
15.
I was going to say 13 to 11. That's what I would have done. And ironically, the album title is named after the main track, which is One Thing at a Time. And I'm like,
You sure didn't do that, buddy.
yeah, like you kind of went overboard with it. And so much of the songs sound the same. None of them are offensively bad. There are a couple of that, pop country hick hop sort of thing.
Hickleback.
Yeah,
Like we reserve that title of Hickleback for Florida Georgia Line. Or at least I do, at least, because they're like the Nickelback of country. Come on.
You kind of got some of that in it, but to be fair, Morgan's always done that, and when you have 36 tracks in an album,
Jesus
it's pretty
Christ.
easy to just be like, I'll just skip that one and it's no big deal. It didn't hurt the runtime, but you've got guys like that have so much of more means better, even though that's not the case.
I'll give you a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Weezer.
Yeah.
I love Weezer.
Yeah,
They have
fucking great.
They have too much music. Even Rivers has said that.
Yeah. Like, it's overbearing.
Yeah.
Eve Toomer doesn't do that, and I gotta give Bros some credit for it, but as a fan, you know, you're kind of like, fuck, I waited for the release, and now it's done, and
There wasn't much to it.
yeah, like, again, it's never a quality thing. Eve Toomer has some great fucking songs.
And this is one of his best reviewed too, dude. This has got
Dude.
some great fucking reviews to it.
And this is like, every song that Eve Toomer has ever dropped has so many textures to it, and it's like, oh my God, dude, so much goes into each track. I fucking get it, but it's just like, this one I was finally like, okay, I'm good with the runtime. Thank you. I feel like this was a complete set, whereas before you might have left a couple of tracks on the cutting room floor because it didn't reach your own standard. And while I appreciate that, I felt like there was something not there.
I get that. So to jump off of something like album related, I mean, it's still album related or whatever, but there's a little bit more to this one. So Foo Fighters.
Mhm.
Now, I think we all know that this last year has been fucking insane with the passing of Taylor Hawkins. Blew my fucking mind when that happened. Was not expecting it. Taylor was one of my favorite drummers as a musician. Seeing how he and Dave's relationship was with each other as best friends, like the humor was there. You can tell where the songwriting kinship was. In fact, for somebody to come in and Dave's just like, I trust you to do this. That's a big deal because Dave is like one of the best fucking rock drummers. He's one of the best drummers out there, honestly. Hell of a musician. So when Taylor passed, I'll be honest, I thought that was it for them. I thought Foo Fighters are done. Like there's no way they're going to continue.
Like, how can you?
Right. But then lo and behold, they did some of the tribute shows for Taylor and everything, which I kind of was thinking to myself, that might be their last hoorah. You know what I mean? Like they're just going to fucking be done after this. And then this year we get a fucking single and I'm like, wait, what? And the song's called Rescued and it's really good lyrically. Like obviously there's some shit for Dave to write about. And before they announced that, yeah, Dave played drums on all this stuff, I fucking knew that. Like, I don't think anybody that's a Foo Fighters fan questioned that he's drumming on this album. They announced a whole ass album called But Here We Are. And as of this recording, there's 3 singles that have come out so far. They're all fucking phenomenal. I'm getting a lot of color and shape vibes from this shit. Like to move on to like a more positive bit about it is that not only are these songs good, but they're going to be doing shows again. They're touring, and Josh Freese is the guy that they chose to, I don't want to use the term replace, but he's the guy that's going to take up the drums for the band. I'm not sure if it's just going to be for this tour or if he's going to become like an active member of the band. But Josh Freese, if for anybody out there that doesn't know this name, is probably one of the most prolific fucking drummers that has been in the scene for decades. He has played for Guns N' Roses, A Perfect Circle, Nine Inch Nails, Sublime with Rome, The Offspring, The Vandals, Devo.
Jesus Christ. That's a resume.
And Sting.
My God.
He even filled in with Paramore at one point.
Dear God.
He toured with Weezer whenever their drummer decided, hey, I want to fucking play guitar and like front the band a little bit for a couple of years. Josh played with them. I mean, my God, like the dude has a fucking resume, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's one of those guys that like, oh, I need somebody to do it. Call Josh. But his humor and his personality fits with them. And they just released a YouTube video of like a full band rehearsal in black and white with Josh. And holy fuck, that band looks so re-energized now. And you can tell there's some newfound like hunger and energy. Like, not that they need to prove themselves, but it looks like they're ready to get out there and just like prove that they can do this, and they're going to do it for Taylor also. And just fuck, man, I love the Foo Fighters so much,
Dude, they're so good.
Ah,
The last one that I got on my list is it's just a single, you know. I have not read about an album, but I also have not looked it up. So if there is one coming, perfect. If not, this was really fucking good. It's Spirit Box. Their new song, The Void. And it's really fucking good, dude. So I do this thing where I put in some of my favorite albums and singles all in one playlist per year. This one is called 2023 Reloaded. And the way that I had it is, it goes The Void, Lowest in Me, then Spit from Poppy. And so the Void kind of starts off, and it's like this kind of heavy metal, but there's no screaming at the end, you know? Like it's just like this techno-y kind of metal, and then goes into Lowest in Me by Stained, where it starts screaming, and then from there it goes to Spit, which is predominantly screaming. And so it's a nice little, like, slowly getting heavier sort of trilogy I got going on in that playlist. But kicking it off with The Void, man, I mean, my God, it's really fucking good. I don't know if you have any experience with Spirit Box, but my God.
I do. The reason I do is because Mike and Courtney are former members of I Wrestled a Bear Once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Courtney was their second singer.
Okay.
My old band, and this is before Courtney was in the band, my old band opened for I Wrestled a Bear Once in a fucking skate rink in Alexandria, Louisiana called Rock and Rollers back, I think it was like 2009 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like right before I Wrestled a Bear Once took off on Metal Blade Records or whatever. But then like Courtney like had come on and replaced Krista as a vocalist, and Courtney's fucking awesome. Like she's a powerhouse too. And when they split, I was like, well, fuck, I hope she does something different. And her husband Mike is like the guitar player, so like this is their project, and fuck, it's so good,
dude, really fucking good. That last album that they dropped, oh my God, that was a killer fucking album. So I don't know if there's anything that I have to imagine that this is attached to something, because I feel like, and I might be wrong, but I feel like usually meaningless singles is reserved for like R&B and hip hop. I don't really see a whole lot of that in the rock world. So I imagine that there's something coming out.
That an EP called Rotoscope that was like last summer, I think, that it come out.
Yeah, something like that. And usually that's what bands will do, is they'll drop an EP and then the next year they'll drop a full-length LP. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Speaking of, like, I just went to a concert last night, actually.
Yeah. How was that?
That was fucking awesome. So, we went to go see Dead on a Sunday.
Ooh.
And it was at this really small fucking venue called The End in Houston, Texas. And I don't know if you know who Dead on a Sunday are.
I've not, but I like the name.
Okay, so Dead on a Sunday, and this is what I love about it. So TikTok is absolutely the new place to kind of like get your shit out there, honestly. Because most people, what happens is like they will take a sound and they will use it over their video, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy that sings, Ross Ryan, he's, basically he is Dead on a Sunday. So the reason that they started kind of taking off a little more so is because of TikTok. He used this tune called After Dark that was kind of going viral, and it was this artist or this person named Mr. Kitty or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he did that, but he recorded the lyrics to Damn It by Blink-182 over this and uploaded it. And it was starting to get like 100 plays a day on their Spotify account. And then somebody commented on his, because he made a TikTok for it, and somebody commented on the video that he sounds like Bob Belcher from Bob's Burgers. And he fucking does. And he just went with it, dude. So like he started like calling shit like on this thing like Bobcore. He was selling like stickers and t-shirts with like Bob from Bob's Burgers with his eyes blacked out, and it just says Bobcore and like Dead on a Sunday. It's like, it's all like really good like tie-in marketing or whatever. So they're kind of gaining like some traction doing this shit, but the music,
you're not gonna get it in any kind of legal
trouble? Dude, but because it's parody almost in a way.
Okay.
But like the rest of the music is fantastic. It's not just the Blink cover. Like the rest of the fucking shit that they do are awesome. And they're from Denver, Colorado. And going and watching this, I loved it because you know how when bands get, I feel like it's a great way to close this. You know how when bands, like you discover a band and you're like, this is my band.
Yeah.
Like you and like that core group of fans that discover this band are like, this is our thing. That's how a lot of us feel Dead on a Sunday. It's like,
okay,
we want this dude to go places, but at the same time, it's like, dude, stay our boy, man. Like,
yeah,
it was just in this really tiny fucking like club. Probably couldn't hold more than like 200 people if it wanted to.
Yeah.
We'd be breaking fire code at that point probably, but man, it felt like a goddamn family in there last night, just singing along to all his shit. Like, and the stage was no taller than these desks we're at right now. And you can just walk up to it. And I've got videos on our Twitter. I say videos. I've got pictures on our Twitter account and my personal Instagram, but it was so much fun going to watch this show and, hear all the music live. And the way they did it was really neat. There was just like 3 of them and they had like some pre-recorded tracks, but they were playing along to it. And it just was high energy. And I love when bands are, they move around on their mobile on stage and you can tell like, they're getting into it. And it's not like being a musician, like you can absolutely tell like when you're feeling it, you just kind of like, you get taken over and you're somebody completely different on stage. And this is the best fucking feeling ever. But I love the fact that of all the fucking songs, it was fucking Damn It by Blink-182, which is kind of a fun way to like literally full circle this episode.
Yeah.
I didn't plan that either. It just happened that way. It's a good cover. I don't know if you've heard it yet.
By them? No.
You need to. It's because it's not what you think.
Okay.
It's a very slow dark wave version.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like what you showed me on the way to the championship game.
Is it what I showed you?
The Dude Ranch.
No, that's not it.
That's what I was saying. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not it at all. This is something completely different, and it's fucking amazing.
Because I was about to say, no, that I have that album downloaded.
Say hello. Well, what I'm saying is, and to you and to literally anybody out there listening, if you haven't heard of Dead on a Sunday and you love shit like old school, like Depeche Mode or like dreary, like dark wave, and hell, even some like rumblings of goth punk here and there, like
okay,
I feel it like that, and I'm sorry if Ross happens to hear this and he's like, dude, you fucking suck. That's not what this is. It's just what I'm getting from it. Okay?
Yeah,
and I know like just seeing him, like he's probably like the nicest fucking dude in the world, and go support his band. Like legit, what I'm getting at is say hello to your new favorite band. Dead on a Sunday is fucking awesome. And I really hope that music goes further and he gets to like do opening slots on bigger shows and takes off. You can tell it's one of those like DIY projects that has a lot of love behind it. And he's super appreciative of the people that show up and show out for him. It's a lot of music.
Yeah, I know this. Dog, is this our longest episode?
It's one of them. That's why whenever we started talking, I was like, looking.
I know. I noticed it earlier. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we've been listening to a lot of music, though.
Yeah, but that means that everybody out there listening to us can go check out most of these artists, and hopefully they like what they hear.
Yeah. Especially some of the more underground stuff.
Absolutely. That's the shit I love giving the most attention to, honestly. So. Come back next week. We're going to be talking about some pro wrestling. God damn it. I want to say there are 2 pay-per-views, PLEs happening this weekend.
3 because of Impact as well.
Oh God. But I know for a fact we'll be talking about Night of Champions and Double or Nothing for sure. Yeah. So that'll be a doubleheader. Come back next week for that shit. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, check out supermediabrospodcast.com for past, present, and future episodes. Check out all the other shows on the OddPods Media Network by visiting oddpodsmedia.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on social media. Buy a t-shirt. Buy a hoodie. Buy a fucking beer koozie. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, GoodPods, and Podchaser. And go buy the fabulous products that we are advertising for Manscaped. To keep your body all trimmed up and nice looking and shit.
Oh, God.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week, everybody. This has been Musical Musings, episode 277. Until next time, I'm Richie.
I'm Devin.
Shades on.
We're off.